moon dust here. Let's talk about the games happened on December 6th, Monday night. The first game went to overtime. The Sixers beat the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets were without everybody, and they just beat the Atlanta Hawks and went to overtime with the Sixers. So, they got a lot of young talent on this team. The Sixers, they're right now the 7th seed. They won 2 straight. Joel Embiid went off 40 minutes. I mean, the guy, field goal has been, in the last 2 weeks, let's see. 6th ranked player, played 5 games, averaging 28 points after this, 28 and 14 rebounds. You could say he's back. Didn't block a shot, but 7 assists and a steal, 43 points. Really, really good stuff. Let's see if he can sustain doing this. But to me, per game wise, he should be a top 10 player, but he's gonna miss games every once in a while. But yeah, this is a good start. Tobias Harris also had a great game. 21 and 11 rebounds with some defensive stats. Whenever he does those, 1 steal and 2 blocks, always nice. Danny Green, I think we could roster him in category leagues, especially because the defensive stats and threes he's providing. He took 7 threes. So really, if he punting points, he's great, to be honest. And his field goal is bad, but he doesn't really hurt you, and he doesn't really turn the ball over either. Seth Curry played 40 minutes. Played pretty bad, but again, if you want points and threes, you could always roster him. I'd rather, stream that spot because the stats he's providing is everywhere. You can find mainly just the threes. Shake Milton. Tyrese Maxey was out. He started. I think we could continue stream Shake Milton if Tyrese continues to be out. I think he had a non-COVID related illness, so shouldn't be long term. But only took 8 shots. That just tells you, same thing with Maxey, right? The point guard position, once the guys are coming back, once Tobias, Joel Embiid, their usage is not going to be that high. I mean, they could get some assists, but even Joel Embiid dished out 7 assists. So, yeah, again, I would try to sell Maxey high. Shake Milton, I would look to stream him. Matisse Thybulle. Like I said before, his minutes, he was playing 33 minutes when Danny Green was out. I didn't expect his minutes to be this low. I would expect him to get 25 minutes. 20 minutes, I think he's, again, if you don't need the defensive stats, why are you holding him? But if you only need one category, you probably don't want him either. You want both steals and blocks to hold him, and you probably want to punt points and threes. But these are dependent in category leagues, whether you want to hold him or not. He could be playing 25 minutes later on. So if you want to hold him, fine, I think. Especially if you want both the steals and blocks. And if you're punting points and threes, I think absolutely you want to hold him, right? Georges Niang, 17 minutes. Yeah, no. Andre Drummond, in 12 minutes, he gave you a steal and 2 blocks with 3 rebounds. Man, just give him 15 minutes, he put up stats. I think for most teams, you want to drop him. In very few teams, if you're punting points, threes, a bunch of other stuff, I guess you could hold Drummond because he's providing good rebound and defensive pretty consistently in those just 15 minutes. For the Charlotte Hornets, Gordon Hayward did not have the best game. Took 19 shots, 12 and 9 are still in the block. I mean, the other stuff looked fine. Miles Bridges had a great game on Sunday night. This game not so much. And a lot of those guys need to be sell highs because LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier are going to be out. And the news came out that even Ish Smith got it. He was in the protocol. So Cody Martin is a must roster. Kelly Oubre Jr. must roster. I mean, those guys, Kelly Oubre Jr. is huge sell high. 35 points, 4 steals in a block. I mean, this is great stuff. But when all the guys come back, it's not guaranteed he'll play 25 minutes even, if he's not shooting the ball well that day. PJ Washington come off the bench. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but a steal and 3 blocks, 8 rebounds. I mean, just good stuff. He's a multiple, he brings so many categories in fantasy, makes him a must roster. And let's see, when Mason Plumlee comes back, are they still gonna start him and play him 25 minutes? We don't know that. Maybe he would just get 15 minutes like Nick Richards get here, and PJ gets majority of the minutes because they want more spacing, right? They want to run, they want a fast paced. But all those guys are sell highs at the moment. Let's look at the next game. The Oklahoma City beat the Detroit Pistons 114-103. Great way. I mean, Lou Dort, this is why we hold him for points and threes. Every once in a while he'll have games like this. Not very often, but 28 points. but it was against a bad team. Against good teams, you know, 28 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, even 5 threes. Great stuff on him. I think we could roster him during 12-team leagues, especially if the schedule is nice. Darius Bazley, the defensive stat look really nice. 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. I think if you want to rebound and blocks toward the end of the week, you need those stats. I think it's fine to stream him. Otherwise, yeah. It's good that he's limiting his shot attempts, right? I think at some point this season, in the beginning, he was taking 12, 13 shots a game. Now, this game, he only took 5, which is good. He should focus on doing the other stuff than scoring. JRE played 18 minutes. He's a drop. His minutes went to Kendrick Williams and Derek Favors and Pokusevski. He's just not great at this point in fantasy, in real life too. Josh Giddey played well, 5'6", coming back from his illness. Did not have a rebound, but 5 assists and a steal. He's very solid. He'll bounce back next game. Just somehow grab 0 rebound this game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played 37 minutes, 30 points, 2 blocks, and 13 assists. Also, just the 2 rebounds. Where'd the rebound go this game for their 2 guards? But a monster game from Shai. Went to the free throw line 15 times. Only took 2 threes. Shai has been underwhelming all season in the last 2 weeks. He is 59th ranked player still. To me, he's a top 30, 40 player. So he's not really hitting that. He averaged 26 points in the last 2 weeks. So that's really, really good. Really high, to be honest. But only 0.8 threes. So he's driving a lot, but shooting 74% from the free throw line on 10 attempts. So that's got to improve. But 1.5 block shots is great. 45% from the field is also a bit low. But he's being more and more aggressive lately, so that's good to see. Kendrick Williams got 27 minutes, had a huge game, 12 points, 4 steals and block, but I don't think he's going to replicate again this game. It was against a bad Detroit team. For Detroit, Saddiq Bey continued to shoot horrible. If you're punting field goals, you could make an argument, you could roster him. But again, it could go both ways if you want to stream that spot. Jeremy Grant played well again, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks, 20 points. I mean, he's been great this season. People were not too high on him because toward the end of he was 32nd ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Toward the end of the second half last year, he was horrible. So people were not too high on him, I guess. For a period of time, he was a top 25 guy last year, and then he fought off in the second half of the season. Let's see if it happens again this year. Maybe not. He was averaging 22 points on, 92% from the free throw line on 7 attempts in 2 weeks. That is definitely not sustainable. He's not a great free throw shooter. Maybe 80s, low 80s, high 70s guy. But yeah, I don't think he's a top 30. If you can get him for top 30, 35 guy, like you can get him for Shai, I would absolutely do it. Isaiah Stewart, 3 blocks. And the minutes is fine. I think he's still a hold. 9 rebounds and 3 blocks. Didn't really score a lot, but you don't have Isaiah Stewart expect him to score a bunch. It's solid enough. The block numbers make him a must roster in category leagues, in my opinion. Killian Hayes, just the 27 minutes, 5 assists and a steal. And the block, decent if you want assists and steals. And Cade Cunningham went off, 28 points. He's going to have a bunch of turnovers. He's going to have low field goal, but the counting style is really, really solid. I like Cade a lot, his fantasy game at least. 11 rebounds, 5. He grabbed 11 rebounds too. So he's a guy that can do a bit everything. And he can get blocks as well. I think we can see him. The only thing is the turnovers and low field goal. If you're pounding those two, really good stuff. Let's look at the next game. The Washington Wizards, again, lost. The Wizards, they're at the 5th right now. Lost 3 straight. Bradley Beal, a good bounce back game, 34 points with really good efficiencies. But again, only took 3 threes. No defensive stats. This game on paper looked good, but still underwhelming on the whole season. I still think he's a buy low. At some point, they're gonna turn it around. He got 0 steals, but the other guys got a lot of steals, 11 steals. So that's, I think the Wizards system should generate some steals. I'm not 100% sure. But Bradley Beal, this is a good start. At least shooting the ball wise, and he's been really bad from the free throw line as well. So 90% here is great. Aaron Holiday got the start because Dinwiddie is resting. Pretty good game, 5 assists and 3 steals, but let's not worry about him. Daniel Gafford and Montrezl Harrell continues to exchange minutes. Gafford was in some foul trouble, didn't block shots, but 7 for 8 rebounds and 14 points is decent enough. While Montrezl Harrell took just 5 shots in 25 minutes, 3 steals and a block, 11 points. They both remain to be they both need to be rostered. And if one of them ever get hurt, the other can be a top 50 player. Kyle Kuzma, another great game in my opinion. 14 points, a steal and a block, 2 threes, okay efficiency. I would take it. And KCP, I think he could still be a hold. He still played 31 minutes. The usage is not a problem, right? If 1 or 2 shots fall, it would be 12, 13 points, 11, 13 points. So, it's okay. And a steal. He's been getting a lot of steals. But you just got to be careful with his field goal. I think everything else should be fine for KCP. Let's look at Indiana Pacers. They got the win. Chris Duarte, just the 25 minutes, but got 4 steals somehow. I think we could stream him. TJ McConnell's going to be out for a while, so I think he would get some minute bump. Sabonis, great game. 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals and a block. I mean, his usage was pretty poor. The past couple games, he's been really, really good. I want to say a sell high, but you could write it out or wait. I still want to trade him because, first of all, this season he's a bit inconsistent and he always runs on gas in the second half. Because the Pacers guys, they play hard. The starters, usually very high minutes and 36 minutes here. They play hard and they don't really get to chill any night, especially in the first half of the season. So I like to trade him. Miles Turner, 7 rebounds, 4 block shots. That's it. That's all I wanted to know. Can he maintain 3 blocks a game this season? We'll see. Karis LeVert also played well. No rebound, 0 rebound. Played 34 minutes, but 0 rebound, 2 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. The defensive side looked really good. 19 points. He remains to be a guy that we want to roster, despite his health issues. He's back. Maybe he I thought it's gonna get worse, but looks like it's getting better. Malcolm Brogdon, 17 points and 8 assists with no defensive stat. It's more of Brogdon we know. 20 points, 7 assists with decent efficiency, but no defensive stats, of course. O'Shea Brissett played 29 minutes. I know this guy. Give the guy 30 minutes, he'll be a monster. We'll see. Maybe it's a guy that we could stream. A lot of guys were out. He can bring the defensive stats and rebound. Let's look at the next game. The Grizzlies got the win again, 105-90. The Grizzlies, they actually won 5 straight, 14-10 without Ja Morant. So they just got a lot of talent on this team, like Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, especially in the last couple of weeks, played super well. Super. He's a second-year player. And in fantasy, he's doing it too, 38 ranked player, just super good, averaging just 28 and a half minutes, averaging 17 points and 3 threes. Good stuff. Super, super efficient, this guy, Desmond Bane. Dylan Brooks, not so much, 20, but he's a must-roster guy, especially if you're pounding field goals, and got 8 assists as well. Jaren Jackson Jr. did not have the best game, but still great. 37 from the field is not great, but he shoots a lot of threes, still in 2 blocks. Last 2 weeks, Jaren Jackson Jr. has been good, has been great actually, top 30, 40, and has room to go up, to be honest. He hasn't had that game where he goes for 9 threes and 5, 6 blocks. I guess he had one against Oklahoma City, one game last week, but he didn't even play in the fourth quarter in that game. Had a huge. Steven Adams, 16 rebounds. Again, if you need rebounds, I think you could roster him, and if you don't care about the free throws, right? Otherwise, I think he's just a stream, in my opinion. But this is great. At steal and a block, 16 rebounds. And with Ja Morant out, I think Steven Adams probably gets more playing time as well, right? Sometimes it's not really your position. Sometimes it's your best 5 players, and Steven Adams is not one of their 5 best players. Desmond Bane, again, we already talked about him. Brought the defensive stats and super efficient again. Tyus Jones is a must roster in the short term. But Ja Morant is going to be back soon. So, just write it. I enjoy it. D'Anthony Melton with Ja Morant just to 23 minutes. He is, if you love the defensive stats, you could have him. But, I don't think and once Ja Morant comes back, who knows, he might play 17, 18 minutes. Like, if you want to drop him for somebody else or you want to stream that spot this week for some other stats, I think it's okay. For the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, again, he tried to play through his tailbone issues. I think he took another fall. And then in the fourth quarter or third quarter, he left the game, couldn't return. So he's going to be out for a while. And Jimmy Butler, people asking me why, he's always injury prone. You have guys like Porzingis, their body naturally just, they just get hurt very easily. Jimmy Butler, because he plays hard, that's why he get those defensive stats. He gets those steals. In the passing game, sacrifices about. He plays hard versus like Harden, right? It's just so much easier for Jimmy Butler to get hurt on the court. So I think for him, it's best just to rest up. I don't know, like tailbone issues, how it's an injury that you just recover right away or you rest for a week and it just goes away. But yeah, I think he should just take 1 or 2 weeks off. Just don't rush it back. PJ Tucker, 24 minutes. I mean, with Jimmy Butler out, a lot of those guys should get a usage boost. Like Duncan Robinson, maybe we could think about streaming him. Tyler Hero is going to get another usage boost. With Jimmy Butler out, I'm assuming he's going to be out for a little while. Dwayne Dedmon played just the 20 minutes within some foul trouble. I think he's still a must roster. He blocked 2 shots here. Like, he has the upside to block 1.5 shots. So that makes him he needs to be rostered and decent boards as well. But again, like if you have a guard team, you don't need the blocks. Then it's a different story in category leagues. Duncan Robinson, I think we could pick him, stream him now that Jimmy Butler might be out for more games. But it's low end value. He might get a few more shot attempts. Kyle Lowry should be, he should be getting a lot more usage boost with Jimmy Butler out. Here took just 9 shots, 4 assists, a steal and a block. Just very solid numbers for Kyle Lowry across the board. And Tyler Hero only played 28 minutes. I don't know why he only played 28, considering Jimmy Butler didn't play in the fourth quarter. Great game, 24 points, but again, like his problem is no defensive stats and low efficiency a lot of the times. And Caleb Martin, just like his brother Cody Martin, they put up a lot of defensive stats, fairly efficient, grab rebounds. If he gets 31 minutes a night, I think we could stream him for some defensive stats, but we'll see, depending on what the Miami Heat schedule looks like. And Gabe Vincent, I think he's a guy. He had a couple, and Max Strauss play 6 minutes. I mean, some of these guys might get some huge minutes with Jimmy Butler out. I look to stream some of these guys. Gabe Vincent, great game, 2 steals and a block, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Probably at this point, prefer Gabe Vincent. Depending on how many games Miami he got left this week. Look to do some streaming from this squad because a lot of injuries, a lot of guys are out. The next game, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost to Milwaukee Bucks. No shame, to be honest. They lost to the Jazz on Sunday and then lost to a really good Milwaukee team. Lauri Markkanen had a decent game, 20 points in the block, 7 rebounds, and 4 threes. I mean, great game. He needs to be rostered. He's inconsistent, but he needs to be rostered. Evan Mobley, again, shot poorly, but they just played the Jazz with Rudy Gobert, and then they played Giannis and Bobby Portis. So it's expected he's going to suffer a little bit. Efficiency-wise, 3 for 10. Still top 30, 40 player rest of the way. Jared Allen did not get impact. Still plays super well. 25 points, 2 blocks, and 9 rebounds. And he continued to shoot 70% from the field every single game. Really good stuff from him. I want to say a sell high, but can you get a top 20 guy back? He might be a top 30 guy rest of the way, right? So probably just hold. Isaiah Okoro, let's forget about him. And Darius Garland did not have the best game. Still dished out 9 assists. He should be fine. And Kevin Love, just the 18, 19 minutes. If you want some rebound and threes, you could stream him. He hit 5 threes here. So in certain situations, I think we could use Kevin Love because the rebound and the threes he's hitting. But I wouldn't roster him full time. Ricky Rubio, 9 assists and nothing else. He was really, really bad. But because, if you don't love the assists, because that's really his number 1 category, I look to trade him, to trade a team that love the assists and steals. because his field goal really is hurting your team. Look to trade him for some value back. Other categories, if you don't love the assists and the steals. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Chris Middleton, 21 points. Just the numbers are just the same, almost boring to look at. 21 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds. Because the guy is just so consistent. Every game give you around 19 points. 5, 6 assists. I mean, this game 8 is great, and then 5 rebounds, and great, decent efficiency everywhere. And he was throwing some defensive stats. Giannis, great from the free throw line. 12 rebounds, 27 points in a block in just 27 minutes because he's in some foul trouble. Bobby Portis had another big game. 16 rebounds, huge rebound. Man, we don't know when Lopez is going to be back. I still think when Lopez comes back, he's going to lose. He's not going to play 30 minutes a night, right? With DeMarcus Cousins around and Brook Lopez. I want to say a sell high. But if you cannot sell him, just keep it. Who knows when Lopez is coming back. Grayson Allen hit 2 threes. A steal and 2 blocks. That's a surprise for sure. He's just a 3-point streamer. That's all he is. Jrue Holiday, here we go. 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals and a block. He's a top 35, 40 guy to me. Have maybe top 30, 25 upset, depending on how many defensive stat he get. This is a great game. He was struggling. He was a huge buy low all season. This is a great game. And Pat Connaughton continued to hit threes and with decent efficiency. He's a 3 points and point streamer. That's it. He doesn't really provide anything else. Let's go to the next game. The Atlanta Hawks beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Hawks got a lot of injuries going on. Kevin Huerter is a must roster. Gallinari needs to be streamed and rostered, to be honest, until Cam Reddish or Bogdanovic is going to be out like a couple weeks. So Gallinari can be streamed and picked up, depending on their schedule. Timothy Luwawu also played really well, 7 threes and 23 points. If he continues to start, I think we could also stream him, just for a little bit everything. John Collins, a block, 13 points, and 6 rebounds is decent, but consider a lot of guys are out. I would expect Collins he only took just 13 shots while Timothy took 18. So there is that. Clint Capella, great game, 16 rebounds, and still in 4 blocks. Field goal wise, not the greatest, but the defensive stats and 16 rebounds really good. While Kevin Huerter had a block, that's great. I think in the short term he remains to be a must roster. He had like 28 points the other night, and played 38 minutes. If the guy played 35 plus minutes, I think he needs to be rostered until guys start coming back. Trae Young also had a decent game, 29 points and 11 assists with 2 steals. This is a great game from Trae. 11 for 13 from the free throw line as well, 4 for threes. Trae Young has been really good this season. But in category leagues, I think we all know, his weaknesses and his strength is very clear. If, he doesn't fit your team build, try to trade him for somebody with equal value. Otherwise, just hold huge free throw assist points guy. Gallo, great, 2 for 2, 20 points. We could stream him. And Dylan Wright, just get only the 60 minutes. We can't forget about him. For the Timberwolves, Taurean Prince, let's not worry about him. Jared Vanderbilt, the guy is not going to score at all, but he's going to take a lot of rebounds from other guys. Anthony Edwards, for example, just one rebound. I'm interested to see how many rebounds Anthony Edwards is averaging in the last 2 weeks. Anthony Edwards actually 15th ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 2.3 steals, but just the 5.7 rebounds, and on the season, right? Anthony Edwards 38th ranked, 6 rebounds. Okay, so that's a 0.3 difference, but he's taking rebounds from somebody, right? Because beginning of the season, Jaden McDaniel was starting and he wasn't getting, Vanderbilt has a chance to average 10 rebounds a game, and a steal, great. I mean, he's really great. If you're pounding points and threes, he is, who knows, top 40 player, top 30, I don't know. Just coming up, assuming he played 30 minutes, of course. Really good game. A must roster guy. Karl Anthony Towns, 31 points. He had a tailbone issue. Didn't look like it bothered him, and the fact that he played 41 minutes remains to be a top 5 guy, pretty scary. Anthony Edwards struggled shooting, but it didn't matter. He's the 15th ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 2.3 steals and 1 block. This is why we love Anthony Edwards. And from the free throw line, he was also great. 6 for 6. in the last 2 years, shooting 90% from the free throw line. That's a little bit too high, and 2.3 steals is obviously too high. But he has the potential to be top 20. If the efficiency just goes up a little bit more, he's great. And with the rest of the guys, Malik Beasley, we could still stream him for points and threes, but I think Patrick Beverley is going to be back soon. If D'Lo continues to be out, we could stream him for a few more games, but his value is running out very, very soon. Naz Reid, with Cat back, in 12 minutes, he still put a decent line. This Timberwolves team got a lot of good fantasy players. A lot of great fantasy players given the minutes. Let's go to the next game, the San Antonio. We got 3 games left. The San Antonio Spurs lost to the This game was kind of close to the Phoenix Suns. Well, they were without Devin Booker, the Suns. Keldon Johnson, 13 points and a steal. They got 5 games this week. So Keldon Johnson, Doug McDermott, Lonnie Walker, right? Those guys we could stream them, right? 14 points from Doug McDermott. He's just gonna give you points and okay efficiency. That's it. He did that. Jacob Poole, 11 rebound is great and a block. Good field goal as well. Derek White only played 25 minutes. I don't know why. A lot of minutes went to Brian Forbes because Brian Forbes probably had it going. Derek White was a minus 17, so that's understandable. Derek White had a huge game last time, not this game. He'll be fine. DeJounte Murray went off, 14 assists, 2 steals. DeJounte has been so great this season. Probably, on the season, probably top 15. Yep. Yeah, well, 11th ranked player. And, you could actually stay, 2 steals is a little bit high, but his efficiency has not been good. It's just a usage boost and 2 steals. 2 steals could go back to 1.7, 1.8. But if the efficiency just goes off tiny a little bit, he'll be inside that top 15. Super, super good this year. And he hit 2 threes as well here. Thaddeus is only getting the 7 minutes, so let's not worry about him. Trey Jones, I don't know who the hell he is. He came in and had 4 steals, while Joshua had 3 steals and 4 blocks. My God, these Spurs guys. It's just one game, but the bench really brought the energy and created a lot of turnovers and blocks for them. For the Phoenix Suns, Mikal Bridges, 9 rebound is nice, 1 steal, sure, and below average team from him. Jay Crowder played really well, a steal and a block, 4 threes. Jay Crowder is a guy we could always stream. He gets 30 minutes on this team, but very, very inconsistent. If you're pounding field goals, for sure, why not stream him? DeAndre Ayton, 14 rebounds, 14 points, 9 rebounds, and a block. Just very boring stats every single game, but very consistent from DeAndre. Landry Shamet started, but he's not a great fantasy player. And Chris Paul, with Devin Booker out, you would expect him to score a little bit more. Still dished out 10 assists, so that's great. That's still on the block. Still 1 for 3 from the free throw line, inexplicably, but that happens to everybody. That's fine. Really good game from Chris Paul. And Cameron Payne, just the 17 minutes. Cameron Johnson, I think in the short term, with Devin Booker out, he's going to play close to 30 minutes. Usually very efficient. This game not so much. And, some threes and some defensive stats. So we look to stream him for sure. Let's talk about the next game. The Orlando Magic lost to the Warriors. No surprise, Magic. They lost 10 straight, did they? Yep, they're 1-9. Well, they lost 2 straight. They won 1 game in their last 10. Yeah, Cole Anthony was out. Jalen Suggs got hurt. They were decent in the beginning of the season. Franz Wagner played well. 15 points, 3 steals is really good. 6 assists is really good. 4 rebound, probably a sell high. A lot of the guys were out. So he kind of take the, in the last 2 weeks. Let's see where he is. 63rd ranked player. If you can get any top 70, 80 guy, just 1 for 1, I would absolutely do it. Last 2 weeks, Vucevic is 64th, Chris Paul is 65th, 63rd ranked. Wow, really impressive stuff. I would do a 2 for 1 to get any top 60 guy back. If not, just hold. He should be getting 30 minutes rest of the season. Wendell Carter Jr., 12 rebounds, 14 points, and a steal. Decent game. And Mo Bamba, that's exactly why. If you play Warriors, big men, they can't play huge minutes. They just cannot. He'll be better. He'll be better than this. Still had 2 blocks in 17 minutes. Gary Harris, I think we could stream him in the short term with Jalen Suggs out and a lot of the guards are out. He provides some steals, some threes, and some points. He's washed, we all know that, but in the short term, I think we could look to stream him, depending on the Magic schedule. If you want threes and points and some steals, I think it's fine to stream him. Cole Anthony did not have the best game, a buy low. Like he has not been good. Coming back from the 169th ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Look to buy low. He's a top 50 player to me, 50, 60 player. A lot of usage. He will have a lot of usage, and I think guys coming back should not impact him. Right? He's the number 1 player on this team. Looking at the Warriors, Andrew Wiggins. Man, Andrew Wiggins has been playing so well this year. Another huge game against the bad. But last 2 weeks, he's 151st ranked player. Not the greatest. You ask why? Because he's shooting 54% from the free throw line. Everything else looks okay. Low defensive stats as well. But if you're pounding free throws, he's a top 100 guy. Last 2 weeks, probably in the 70s and 80s ranking wise if you're pounding free throws. 8 for 10 from 3. You really had it going. Draymond, this is the Draymond we want to see. 3 steals and block. He wasn't blocking any shots in the beginning of the season, right? Lately he's been blocking a lot. He had a 6 steal 3 block game last week. Let's see where Green is in the last 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, he is the 51st ranked player. I think he's gonna be in that 50 range. Ranked in 9 category leagues, he's gonna be in that 50 range. But if you're pounding points and threes, let's just do that really quickly here, just to make my point. In the last 2 weeks. Let's say you're using Basketball Monster. If you're pounding points and threes, let's see where Green ends up. Well, 10th ranked player. Here you go. So again, like he's maybe 9 category leagues, just the top 50, 60, 70 even. But if you're pounding points and threes, he's a top 10 player. So if your team is got a lot of big man, you say fuck it. You should try you should throw him a top, 40 guy 1 for 1, right? Top 30 guy 1 for 1 to get Draymond Green. Really, really good stuff from Draymond. Kevon Looney, let's not worry about him. And Jordan Poole struggled shooting the ball. The fact that he took 15 shots and Curry only took 16. Wiggins took 17. Okay. Curry has been falling. Well, he didn't really fall off this game. He still had 31 points. My God. In the last 2 weeks, his ranking has not been the best. I still take, he's still the 3rd ranked player. My God. So, not really. He's still great, but just not number 1. Jordan Poole, also 7 assists is great, 7 rebounds and a steal. And he was a plus 23, team best plus 23. And we know when Klay's going to come back. Who knows? When Klay comes back, he might come off the bench. But I still expect their best 5-man lineup is Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and Steph Curry. Right? So I still expect that. Like Damian Lee minutes probably, will all go to Klay, and a couple other guys might lose a few minutes. But I still expect Jordan to play 30 minutes a night. That would be my expectation. Let's look at the last game of the night. The Clippers beat the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, man. What's going on with them? They got to trade Damian Lillard. Paul George, great game. 30 minutes. The minutes is super high. The concern with Paul George, obviously great here, 4 steals. It's the OKC Paul George this year. But on the season, he is already outside of 10. 16th ranked player. So, to me, he's in that range, 10 to 13. Four steals here is really good. But again, like if I can get a top 10 player back, like if I can get DeJounte Murray, I would do it. Just because the guy is younger and Paul George, they're gonna rest him. They already did once. Marcus Morris Sr., another great game, 17 points, 2 steals. I think we could roster him, but he's that end of your bench guy, right? And what happens when Batum comes back, right? A couple guys were out this game. And Zubac, 27 minutes, sure, 1 steal and 3 block. We could roster him. He's been playing fairly well. especially if he pounding threes. Of course, pounding threes and assists, he's great. Luke Kennard, wow, he started. Eric Bledsoe came off the bench. I think we could move on from Bledsoe. It's over. Ty Lue tried it out. Just doesn't really like what Eric Bledsoe brings to the table for this team at this moment. At some point, he might be getting 30 minutes, but yeah, let's move on from him. Even when he's playing 30 minutes, he's barely 100. He does have the upset, defensive upset, but yeah, if he played 50 minutes coming off the bench, I know it's just one game, but I'll be okay moving on from him. Reggie Jackson, 16, in Reggie Jackson fashion. Bad field goal, no defensive stat, just the points and threes. 6 assists is also decent. But yeah, it's rough with Bledsoe. I think we just gotta drop him. For the Portland Trailblazers, Robert Covington. The minutes is there, but 1 for 8 from the line. What's going on with him? A minus 23, just the 2 points. But to be fair, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks is super great in fantasy. But in real life, 2 points is horrible. I still think he's a hold. In category leagues, of course. In points leagues, you gotta let him go. Yusuf Nurkic, great game. 31 points. 6 for 10 from the free throw is not the best, but good to see him getting 30 minutes despite getting 5 fouls. Chauncey Billups is a little bit desperate, so change of lineup. Both Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum were out this game, so Norman Powell is a sell high if you can. 29 points is great, and 2 threes, but nothing else. Seriously, well, free throw 7 for 8 is also great. Dennis Smith Jr. had 7 turnovers, my God, but 7 assists, 6 rebounds, a steal, and a block. Dennis Smith Jr. needs to be rostered until Dame comes back. And even Cody Zeller came in and played 60 minutes. And our friend Larry Nance Jr., what's going on? The minutes 32, but didn't do anything. Did absolutely nothing. So let's not stream him. Let's just forget about him. He's always been good in fantasy given the minutes, but yeah, not so great this game. And that's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.